Good morning. Hello, welcome, and thank you for coming out so bright and early. So everyone looks quite smiley and happy to come and drink some coffee and to network and to hear us talk. This is Friday.
Hello.
I'm Andy, and we're from Running with Scissors. We're the founders, the bosses, big cheeses, small cheeses.
People at the back. People
at the back who point at things. And thank you to Jade and Eddie and Cam for inviting us today to come and talk about happiness. It is probably the biggest topic I've ever been asked to talk about, and the irony of me with my curmudgeonly Scottish reputation talking about happiness, frankly, isn't really lost. So thanks, guys. Somehow between now and the next 20 minutes, I have to take a quantum leap from my natural state into something that's happy.
I think we might already be over time.
I think we are. It's time to go. All right. Well, Jade and Eddie always do things for a reason, and I guess the reason they've got us here to talk about happiness isn't to do with me, but it's to do with running with scissors, because running with scissors and happiness are very, very closely linked. I think it'd be safe to say, you might want to contradict me, and you probably will.
I will.
You will. It's safe to say that if you took happiness away from our business, if you took happiness out of our agency, if you took happiness away and buried it in a box in the garden, we would cease to exist. Everything we do, the way we make money, the way we create jobs, the way we do outstanding creative things would disappear if we took away happiness. Happiness isn't just about us being happy, QED, like this. Happiness to us is actually business critical. Now, let me explain a little bit. About 5 years ago?
5 years.
5 years, thank you.
That's an accurate.
It is accurate. About 5 years ago, Friday and
4.5.
Friday and I set off to go and start a business in New Zealand, and we called it Running with Scissors. The idea of this business was to use creative thinking and creative interrogation and lateral thinking process to be able to accurately and incredibly generate new value for businesses through creative thoughts, effectively thinking the unthinkable, answering questions that haven't been answered before, seeing things that people can't see, that sort of stuff. We're here effectively to spend our lives as professional creative problem solvers. So our entire business, some of the guys that are here, are professional creative problem solvers. That's what we do, day in, day out. They see things that people don't see, they ask questions that haven't been asked, and they answer those questions that no one's answered in the past. It's quite an onerous task. And fundamentally, when we look at the team that we've got, and we look at our business, all the people that we employ, all the people who are part of the wider diaspora of the business, have two things in common. One is that they have this quite insane belief that anything is possible. So if you want something to happen, it can happen, and that comes from the heart. Second thing is that they have this outstanding, relentless positivity, because to be able to tackle problems that no one's tackled, to be able to see things that people haven't seen on a Monday and a Tuesday and a Wednesday and a Thursday and a Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday sometimes as well, but that's a sore point. To be able to do that, you require to believe that anything's possible, but also to be incredibly relentlessly positive. Now, as business leaders, grand way to describe ourselves, but effectively what it is. When we look at our business and we look at the positivity that's inherent in the positivity that drives the creative process, it's actually impossible to separate the happiness of the people from the positivity that drives that creative process. So fundamentally, the people in our business, and all our people are fantastic creative problem solvers, the better they are at solving problems creatively, the more positive they are and the happier they are. And the happy people who come to work with us, you know, more creatives and people working in workshops and brainstorms, the happier the people are, the greater their natural tendency to be able to solve problems. So for us, it's a no-brainer. The happier we can create a workplace, the better our output's going to be. The better our output, the more money we make, the quicker we retire. That's the idea. So when we started our business, we started with a business model from scratch. And we had the rather rare opportunity to try to build happiness into a business model right from the start. So we started with a blank sheet of paper, and we had the opportunity to say, actually, how do we create happiness? Because if we don't create happiness, if we don't work on the front foot to say this is what happiness is, then fundamentally, we're not going to be able to perform as well as we could do. So what we want to do today is give you happiness in a nutshell, if we possibly can, and hopefully give you some tips and some thoughts about how to bring happiness into your workplace, regardless of whether you're the boss or whether you're just toiling away doing amazing things, but how to bring happiness in. And hopefully, by the end of today, once you've implemented some of these, There'd be a lot more smiles in this town.
Unless that's not what you want.
No,
you'll be
it's not really.
unhappy.
Yeah.
So it is happiness in a nutshell. We're pretty much almost wrapped up. We're going for about 15 minutes, I think. Andy likes to talk, just in case you hadn't noticed. We are talking about our journey. This is the Running with Scissors journey. This is kind of about our perspective on happiness. I think it's fair to say that we have no formal training in happiness. We're not psychologists. We've done absolutely no research on the subject of happiness to prepare for this presentation.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. So if you do want to leave now, that's fine with us. We completely understand. We thought just to help you out a little bit, we could give you some other options for what you could do. There is plenty happening today in the city, so you could get lost in the amazing maze and maze. That's a maze made out of maize, which is amazing. You can enroll for a degree in hospitality at the Crown Institute Enrollment Day. There's the 8 a.m. service for the Immaculate Conception Church in Ellerslie, which by the time you turn up it may be finished, but that's okay, you'll get the end bit. Watching Bananas, Pajamas, that's on Channel 4 at the moment. There's the Auckland City Walk to see what it used to be like in the 1840s, which is a while ago. There's Pedro in Chile. He's just finished work. He's ready on Skype. And there's actually a school holiday cartoon workshop which you can queue up now and be one of the first people to attend that, which sounds pretty cool.
There's also Tai Chi outside by the looks of things.
Oh yeah, there's that as well. All right.
But everybody's staying. This is remarkable.
Yeah. So this is our perspective. This is what we kind of think. And as Andy was saying at the start, we're all about creative process, being able to try and solve any problem. So we figured, like happiness, it should be pretty easy. So we did actually spend 4.5 years trying to work out about trying to solve the problem of happiness. And the question we've put up is, can you create happiness? Can we do that? We're really creative people. Surely this should be within our ability to achieve.
Yes. Yeah, you think so. We've solved half the problems in this. And for the first time in the public domain, I'd like to introduce the answer to this question. It's taken 5 years of hard graft to be able to answer this question, that can you create happiness? We've been bringing happiness into our business for 5 years. And the answer to the question, can you create happiness, is... Well, yeah, okay. It's like I might have built it up just a touch too much. But no, you can't. You can't create happiness. It's bollocks. Happiness comes from within. Happiness is a choice that people make. So when you go out to try to create happiness, to try to artificially stimulate happiness, especially inside a business or a workplace, you're going to fail. Because you're trying to make everyone happy in the way that you're happy. We're all individuals here. Yes, we're all individuals, and we're all happy in our own way. So happiness comes from inside. So the best thing that you can do as an employer, as the creator of a creative workplace, is basically to not suck the life out of people. All we can do, the only promise we can make, is
sometimes we get it wrong, by the way.
It is. The only promise that we can make is to make a place that doesn't make people unhappy. The thinking here is, and there is genuinely some thinking here, that if people are happy on the inside and they bring their happiness to a place that doesn't make them unhappy, then you have the ability to start to do something. But we can't promise any more than that.
So what we're going to share with you today is effectively what our learnings are. This is what we apply in our business. It may not be appropriate for you. You may not even want to be happy. So we're not going to force this on anyone. But this is what we think is important. We want to employ positive people. So we've got a positive outlook on... we basically think we should be able to achieve anything. And so we want to employ more people that think the same way. So we're looking for like minds, right? So we start with positive people, and then, like as Andy said, don't suck the life out of them. Try and make an environment which is good fun to be in. So we give them something to believe in. We're really clear about what we stand for. We take pride in purpose. It's not about a job description. It's about what you're actually trying to achieve. We try and make the workplace work harder, which doesn't sound very happy, but it's actually just about creating a nice actual working environment, like the physical aspects of your work. And then we just keep stimulating the hell out of people. And making sure that they're getting all the sort of excitement that they possibly can.
We call this the rule book, but it's not strictly a book. It's more like a list that we made up a while ago. But let's go through it one by one and see what we can tell you. First of all, employ positive people. Now, this is where I get to be curmudgeonly and Scottish again and say it's not my job to make people happy. Well, it would be in an ideal world if I had time and space and money to do that. But fundamentally, if we bring somebody into our business who doesn't have that positivity, who doesn't naturally have that belief that anything is possible, doesn't have that thought, they're going to immediately have an impact on everyone else around them. So The luxury of having time to make people who are less happy happy is something which we can't necessarily do in a pressured environment like ours. So the principle here is that if you want to create a happy environment, then collect happy people around you. Happiness breeds happiness, positivity stimulates positivity. The challenge here, of course, is that you need to go out and find positive people and naturally happy people. And as we said, happiness comes from inside, not from outside. So people like me with that generally smiling face and that generally like grumpy, curmudgeonly face, I like to think of myself as a happy person. I just don't necessarily show it on the outside. So if I don't show my happiness, it's quite deep, that happiness. If I don't show my happiness and I come along and I want to work with you, then how do you know that I'm happy? If you don't know that I'm happy, you're not going to work with me. You're not going to play with me. So what do you do? So we've, over the last probably 2 or 3 years, we've changed the whole approach to finding happy people, to finding positive people. And we've stopped using our eyes and started using our ears. Not looking for that demented grin and people going, oh, look at us, life's great. That doesn't work. You listen to what people say. And all you have to do is focus on 2 very small words. Listen for the word could instead of the word should. You might want to say in a Kiwi accent, because when you say that Scottish, it
was could is the first word, and the second word there was should.
If you listen for people who say could as opposed to should, it's the one major giveaway to their attitude to life. So that if you're looking for positive people to partner with in creative projects or to employ or to be your clients or anything else, it's like listen for could rather than should. It's the one big giveaway. Follow that rule, you can't go wrong. Rule 2.
That was rule 2 in English. Kiwi English.
En anglais.
Kiwi. The next one is about giving people something to believe in. So we're really clear of where we're going as a company. Our vision for Running with Scissors is to be globally recognized for imagination in business. That is a big goal, and yeah, we want to be famous throughout the world. We want to be compared to other great imagination companies all over the world. It's not just about what's good here. And there is great stuff happening here, but we just want to be compared to everyone we can. If we thought there were some more aliens doing creative work, we'd want to be compared to them. The next thing is being really clear about what you stand for. We have 3 core beliefs at Running with Scissors. The first belief is that anything is possible, and we do believe that. The second one is that doing what's right is the right thing to do. We don't want to go against what's correct, what's good, what our core values as people are. So we want to do what's right, and we set up a system to be able to work that way. And the last thing is there's no need to be a dick, which there isn't.
Speaks for itself.
Really. Yeah.
Speaks for itself.
Really, yeah.
And if you give them something to believe in, then you're halfway there. And generally speaking, you can make them want to be friends. You can make them want to work with you. You can make them want to have a job. Now this is when the challenge becomes, because once you've got someone who wants to work with you, you have to get work out of them. That's me as the boss talking again. So what we do here is that we take pride in purpose. And I say pride quite deliberately, because it's pride in purpose. What normally happens is when you get to work on a project or you get employed by somebody, the first thing that happens on your first day is that you get shown a desk in the corner of the room, and then somebody puts a figurative box around you. They say, there is your job description, there is the parameters of your project, there is your scope of work. You must think so far, but don't think any further. That's effectively what people do. And in a creative business, even though it's done with the best intentions, telling people how far they can think doesn't stimulate creativity. It doesn't allow people to think the thoughts that haven't been thought, to answer the questions that haven't been answered. So rather than defining scope of work or defining job descriptions, what we do is that we utilize purposes. And a purpose is just a way of telling people why they exist and aligning everybody inside a project or inside the agency towards a common goal. It's making sure that everybody knows that their one little bit of what is the much bigger project, their small cog in that big, big wheel, is actually valuable. But all it does is point everyone in the right direction, and it doesn't limit how they think. Because what we want is people to keep thinking and to keep sharing. So utilizing a purpose as opposed to a job description or a scope of work in what people do frees people to do whatever they think is right. And we employ and we work with people like you just to do that, to use your perspective, your backgrounds, your imagination to think what you think is right. So never ever put boundaries around people.
The fourth thing on our list is make the workplace work harder, which you probably can't see now because of the sun. That's a shot of our office. But basically, we do some really good stuff. We've got desks. There's some comfortable chairs, computers. We've got air conditioning units. That keeps the temperature pretty, yeah, it's good. It's actually not that common, eh? It's amazing how uncommon air conditioning is. We've got Spotify Premium. We went for the upgrade.
That's $12 a month, that is.
Yeah. the ads were good, but we just thought we'd go without them. So we just want to make it a happy place to work. The other great thing, you can't really see it, but there's an organ in the picture just by the entrance. The great thing about that is it doesn't work. So the music is still with Spotify, but it's just about creating a place that's like fun. It should be a place that you want to go to. You spend a lot of time there, right? So it doesn't have to look really like everyone else's. So we spend a lot of time trying to make it look like an interesting place and making sure everyone's comfortable.
You spend more time at work than you do in bed, and generally businesses spend more on their bed at home than they do and fit out of their offices, and that's just the wrong way around. Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy air conditioning and comfortable things. And even better, that if you allow people to express themselves through the workplace, so you let the workplace be a representation of the guys who are working there, then all of a sudden you have happiness coming through that way as well. Because you're not trying to force them to look or to feel like you based upon your vision of what that workplace looks like. Hence the fact that we've been cartwheeling with our fit out for years.
Yeah, it can also buy bunting. Money can buy bunting.
Money can buy lots of things, but it can't buy happiness. And the final thing, stimulate till the cows come home. Or as we like to say, stimulate, stimulate, stimulate.
Again, you can't really see that. This was our Christmas party, our staff Christmas party this year. It's Gothic Frisbee Golf. Although we didn't actually do the Frisbee golf because of the weather, but we did dress as goths and go out and ice skate and 10-pin bowling and lunch at SPQR, that kind of stuff, normal goth stuff.
Yeah, it was all normal goth stuff. The principle of the fifth and final rule in our rule book, that's actually a list, is all about sharing what's inside your head. Because all people have is their own experiences. The world that you experience when you're growing up and through your creative careers is just seen through your eyes, not through anybody else's. The reality that you know is your reality. It's not my reality, it's not Friday's reality. It's your reality, which means that you are the only person in the entire universe who sees the world the way that you see it. So when you stop and you think about the enormity of the uniqueness of everybody's perspective of the world, you start to go, well, if everybody's unique and everyone's got a different view, the most important thing we can do is share it. Because if we don't take time to share what we see, what we think, what we feel with each other, then we're losing an opportunity to inspire. And stimulate, stimulate, stimulate is all really about inspire, inspire, inspire. If we were zombies, we'd be eating each other's brains, but that's against health and safety, so we're not allowed to do that. But the principle here is that everybody sees the world differently. Everybody sees the world creatively differently, sees the world practically differently, so get people to do it. But businesses expect that to happen naturally. You go, oh, you're creative people. You'll talk. You'll be fine. Bollocks. It doesn't work that way. You have to build time. You have to build time, commercial time and creative time in to try to make this work. So we're not forcing happiness, but we're all making it as easy as possible to stimulate each other and making that a regular routine part of what we do. As if fun can be routine.
The routine of fun. So we're almost done. You should be able to, we'll be wrapping up soon. You'll be able to go and join the end of the, oh no, you can't join the Tai Chi class.
man's gone.
There might be another one starting at 9. But just running through what we've just talked about, so we employ positive people because that's the great place to start, and then we just do stuff to not suck out their life. So we're clear about what we believe in. Everyone that's with us knows what we stand for, where we're going. We take pride and purpose. We create a nice environment that's a nice place to work. And we stimulate and let people stimulate us as well.
Although it's like we've been treating happiness in a slightly flippant way this morning, it's really, really important to remember just how powerful happiness is in a creative business. So because you can't remember 5 things, I'd like you to remember 1 thing. Or actually, I'd like you to remember 3 things that are 1 thing. First thing to remember, and I want you all to repeat this, let's have a mantra, people are responsible for their own happiness.
It's a possible fact.
Everybody say it. I'm responsible for my own happiness.
Well, that's pretty happy. I've never seen such an ecstatic crowd.
I was blown away. Yeah, we are all happy this morning. Yeah, so the first of the 3 1 things to remember is that people are responsible for their own happiness. Get your people to pack their happiness like a packed lunch. Take it to work. Everyone's happiness is different. It's inside. You're responsible for it. Do it. Number 1. Number 2, nurture happiness. Who's good at nurturing here? Hands up. Everybody, come on, hands up. Admit it. Say out loud, I'm good at nurturing. That man there is not good at nurturing. He's got an angry face on.
They were happy, yeah.
They were
really happy
anymore.
before, and then it's like crowd participation. It's like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
So just as it's your responsibility to bring your happiness, it's also your responsibility to nurture that happiness around. And if the one thing you can do is not make people unhappy around you, then that's cool. The rest is alchemy. The rest will work. And the third and most important thing, happiness is powerful. It's powerful in our business because it frees that belief that anything is possible. It frees that positivity, which means we can think the unthinkable and do some extraordinary things.
Happiness also smells like pine, just in case you're wondering what the odor of happiness is.
So that we should be selling those as well. Yeah. Everyone driving around with a little bit of happiness in their car. So yes, remember to be responsible for your happiness. Remember to nurture that happiness in the people around. And remember that happiness, above all, is creatively the most powerful thing you have. Thank you very much.